history of the country coming up. I think you'll continue to hear those themes as well.
I want to note another thing that strikes me as, for some people, an article of belief. I don't recall the Panama Canal coming up in the presidential campaign. Maybe it did and I missed it. It seems to have been something that emerged after November 5th. But when Trump began talking about that, it is easy to remember people who were upset about that, going back to when he was a young man in 1979, who were unhappy with it then, didn't agree with it then. Ronald Reagan was opposed to it on his way to being elected president. Some people will find this to be a perfectly unexceptional thing to be saying, even if others are completely shocked and have no idea where it's coming from.
Yeah, these are the kinds of things that clearly maybe somebody close to him comes to him with an idea, says this is something, you could get, you get a lot of attention for. Obviously, it sounds good, and the kind of things, it's interesting now he announces these ideas and members of Congress race to be the first to announce that they're putting in a bill to do it, which is exactly what he wants. But I'm sure there'll be more of these. We talked about Mars. I'm sure Elon loves to hear about Mars being in the inaugural address. So a lot of this, as you know, it's a lot about who is talking to Trump is where a lot of these ideas come from.
In writing a speech like this, if you're thinking about an occasion like this and speaking to the whole country, I suppose a speechwriter or a public official might think about reaching out to the other side. The president did make those two references to unity, but was there any part of this speech that struck you as trying to broaden the tent, trying to expand the tent, trying to reach out to people who are not on his side?
No, I think the first inaugural, even if it was lip service, he made more of an attempt at, no mentions of bipartisanship, obviously no sense of we are, not enemies, but friends. It was, he had one line that was more political, reaching out to Black and Hispanic voters who was trying to obviously keep in his coalition, but not very much there for Democrats, not very much outreach. Maybe that'll happen in his first address to Congress next month or in March, but usually in a speech like this, obviously you want to make the appeal to unity, reach out and to include Congress, but except for referencing some of them in the beginning, there was very little of that. It was very much, as has been common with Trump, especially in this iteration of him, very much a speech for the base. They are obsessed, fixated on promises made, promises kept, flooding the zone, and they put the speech in sort of that way of thought as opposed to the traditional inaugural address.
Mr. Rishi, one more question before we go back to our colleagues who are out with Trump supporters out in the Capital One Arena and nearby. There are some differences that have emerged in the base so far, particularly around strategies to address immigration. We've heard that there was it's been a very public dispute between some of his tech supporters like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and Steve Bannon, one of his early supporters, around this whole question of H-1B visas and the strategy around sort of access to citizenship for people who have a certain kinds of skills. So do you think that that's, how real is that dispute? I mean, is this dispute, how real is it and how long lasting is this? Or is this the kind of thing that once a decision is made, it goes on? Or do you think that it's deeper than that?
I think it's very real. Steve Bannon calls them the oligarchs. I just saw that today. I think H-1Bs will be a proxy battle within this. After the Lake and Riley Act has passed, you may see some states try to use different authorities to police H-1Bs. So I would watch closely what governors do and what state legislatures do. I could see the people in Steve Bannon's camp trying to influence, maybe they can't influence Congress, maybe trying to do some of this, have this battle at the state and local level to try to police H-1Bs. So no, I think it's going to continue. I think Trump obviously likes that chaos and likes that back and forth.